Hey mate, happy 21st. We just got a bit of a speech lined up for you. I thought I'd surprise you with a bit of Peter as well.
Hey, yo mate.
Mate, yeah, it's good to see that you actually turned 21. I actually didn't think you'd even get to this age. So, I mean, that's a bonus anyway, let alone actually be at university doing something good, so that's good. Alright mate, so here it goes. Ambrose. He's gone by a few names over the years. Lamppost, Jam Toast, Up the Coast, Lamb Roast, and my favourite, I Like to Boast.
My first clear memory of Ambrose Allen was through grade 6, when our dream teacher, Miss Lynch, marched Ambrose and I to Mr. Drew's office. We were in trouble. This time more so than the previous 15 times we had committed the same crime. Ambrose loved taking Nick O'Brien's Dragon Ball Z cards, and, like the little shits we were, once stolen, we would try and sell it back to him. I would call it entrepreneurial ability. But I think that young, rookie grade 6 teacher of ours had had enough. She had expected a class of angels on her first year at Terrace, and they delivered at Peter Donato and Ambrose Allen.
I've known Ambrose since we were both little idiots running around a muck in year 8. We've been through it all. Plenty of shenanigans, and plenty of trouble too. I remember the first day I met Ambrose. It was on the train to school, literally the second day of year 8, and my brother, he bumped into Ambrose and pointed to this little kid in a Terrace hat, and he had way too much facial hair to be in year 8, and he goes, "Here Cam, this is Ambrose, make friends." It was on this train trip that I first began to get a picture of what an Ambrose actually is. Rough around the edges, and to be honest, I thought he was a little bit weird. However, we very soon became good mates, riding dirty on the Beans train. In the back carriage like the little shits we were. It seemed it was happy days until I started to sort of date this girl. Laura, I think her name was. Anyway, Ambrose thought it was his duty to point out every single flaw in this girl. Either just to annoy me or because he didn't like her. I think, looking back now, it was just both. One thing led to another, and there we both are, sitting outside Conley's office, talking to the receptionist. Yeah, awaiting punishment for fighting in the Carney area. I use the term fighting very loosely. Turns out he was right about the bird anyway. Time went on, and as it did, me and Ambrose became good mates again. There were a couple of times where I had to get him out of trouble, and probably a couple more times where he got me into loads of trouble. But for all this, I thank him, because I still laugh when I think about him today.
So me and Ambrose have been friends ever since those days in Mrs. Lynch's class. It was a bit of a lie. Through high school, we gave meaning to the love-hope relationship where love was definitely outweighed by hate. Term 3, grade 7. Ambrose chases Peter around the primary quad because Peter ruins Ambrose's Beyblade competition. Term 2, grade 8. Ambrose chases Peter when Peter kicks his locker. Term 3, grade 8. Ambrose throws Peter into wall head first, knocking him out after Peter ate Ambrose's lunch.
It's a good lunch though, Tracy.
Oh, Tracy, beautiful. Well done. Like, yeah.
The best.
Term 3, grade 8. Ambrose comes hunting for Pete after Pete sits there kicking Ambrose's locker for 5 minutes. Josh McDonald hiding around the corner to protect Peter at all moments.
Hero.
Our mate. Our best mate.
Hero.
I have a list that's quite a bit longer and continues through to grade 12, but I guess we have a bit of a time limit, and there's far more interesting things to talk about.
One story of which is just one of many. I don't want to get him into too much trouble because, well, it is his 21st and we would like him to see his 22nd. I remember I stayed over his house one night when my parents had gone away for the weekend. It was a school night, but me and Ambrose were keen on doing something mischievous, which often happens when you mix alcohol, cigarettes and teenage idiots together. So recently, check out the rude people just interrupting this speech. Just kidding. How you doing?
Keep going.
Yeah, which often happens when you mix alcohol, cigarettes and teenage idiots together like we just spoke about. So recently, Ambrose had discovered the house just up the road had been left vacant and had found a way in. And being that we both liked some girls that were in the same group at the time, we thought it was a great idea to invite them round for some mischief as well. Awesome plan, right? So we get up to this house, meet the girls, had some drinks, and then just chilled out for a little bit. Ambrose is so smitten with himself, he immediately falls in love with this girl. I think some people remember her name. I don't really want to say it though, but it rhymes with Tidy Maze. Anyway, I'm very happy for him, and we call it quits at about 4 AM. The next morning, his mum wakes us up to go to school, and I claim I'm feeling a little bit sick. I was, but it was all a little bit self-inflicted. Ambrose, true to form, goes to school, kicks on. Anyway, he gets a bit angry because when he comes back, and I've been there all day, he spits the chips with absolute disregard for himself, spills the beans to his mother. Anyway, that was the first time I got banned from his house for life. There have been about 5 other occasions since, one involving fire and antique chairs, another involving alcohol, public nudity. Come to think of it, all of them involving Ambrose saying it would all be sweet. Needless to say, if they ever wanted fun, the Allen household is where I found it.
Ambrose has had a few hobbies in his life, but girls always been the centre of his mind.
In grade 9, Ambrose took his love and turned it from a hobby into an entrepreneurial trade. Having a business mind like Ambrose means that you'll do whatever it takes to get a pie from the tuck shop at lunchtime. In year 9, this meant that Ambrose had to use his artistic skills and to make some pretty cash by selling portraits that he made.
I can tell you that to all our relief, Ambrose's girlfriend at the moment is alive, has a pulse. Her name's Gina.
It's true.
That is, compared to his grade 9 girlfriend and job, manga. For those who don't know better, manga is otherwise known as an interesting type of cartoon pornography, and was once Ambrose's love and trade. Ambrose, as a young artist, was once caught with some rather graphic images by a group of grade 5 boys who were harassing the poor man through a long period of sketching. Jan Cameron, other than being absolutely revolted, as we all were, suspended him, and that was the start of his on-the-rocks career at Terrace.
I think it just continued a bit more, but as another punishment, Ambrose had to draw cartoon pictures of people on house assembly every week for a whole term. To this day, I still remember laughing every week as Ambrose was stood up there in front of everyone with a whiteboard and a marker.
Other than watching porn, sketching porn, and dating Gina, Ambrose only has a couple of hobbies, his studies being at the forefront. As a lot of you know, Ambrose has done okay for himself. I'm certain you'd be in the same boat when I say that 2 years ago, I'm sure, like me, you would have guessed Ambrose have been a Centrelink bum rather than a law student. About 3% of the time, Ambrose is a pretty serious guy. Willing to never speak to you again if you aren't in the mood to get on the piss when he is. Ambrose is especially serious when it comes to his future, always mentioning the one goal he always has in mind: getting disgustingly rich and rubbing into a bunch of
certain people's faces.
Certain people's faces.
May have said he was going to die at the age of 18. One of them was me for a while. Whilst I'm writing this, I find myself thinking of a lot of stories I could tell that would either make Ambrose look like a criminal or a living legend. However, I think that I'll save them so that his family don't disown him on his birthday. On a serious note, Ambrose is one of the best blokes I know. Throughout school, where there were some tough times, I actually admired how he never changed. I'd never tell him that though, sorry. Either he was too proud of being a dropkick or he was just stubborn. But either way, he was never a faker, that's for sure. Ambrose, you're a great guy and have a lot to offer every single one of your mates. There are times when people don't give you enough credit or just think that you're slacking. For example, I remember your mum always thought you did nothing when you actually studied your ass off. What is it you do, Ambrose?
What have you done?
would be the term I have adopted since hearing it. Well, we've been through it all, mate. Good times, bad times, fun games of silly hat poker where everyone gets way too drunk and we all get our money back. Not to mention an unhealthy obsession with Slash, which led to a formation of your amazing band, Pistol Meth. I want to repeat that. Pistol Meth was the name of the band, which is just fucking horrendous. But congratulations.
Bambi, sorry I couldn't be there tonight, and I wish you were here with us in London, getting pissed and partying. But yeah, I think I can speak for most of us when we say we're proud of you, where you are and where you're going. Happy 21st, and I hope you're a real adult now.
Mate, me too. I'm sorry I couldn't be there on your 21st, mate. You know I'll be having a beer for you. But before I go, I want to say to everyone there, I'm legitimately very proud of Ambrose. He has come from being a little shit with me, running amok, to one of the best guys I know. Whether it be fishing, playing FIFA, or wrapping papers after 1 or maybe 12 beers with me, I can always count on you to be up for a good time. And for that, you're one of my closest friends. Here's to you, Amby. Oh,
Happy birthday, Amby. See you, mate.